President Obama now being accused of flip-flopping, saying at least 25 times he did not have the authority or the legal power before suddenly changing his tune on immigration. I want to talk about this now with Doug Schoen, a former advisor to President Clinton, and Monica Crowley, the online opinion editor for the Washington Times, and both are Fox News contributors. Hello to both of you.
Morning, Bill.
Wow. Okay. There's some irony in this. And I want you to listen to this clip from July of 2010. This is during an immigration speech, okay? Roll it.
I believe such an indiscriminate approach would be both unwise and unfair. It would suggest to those thinking about coming here illegally that there will be no repercussions for such a decision. And this could lead to a surge in more illegal immigration. And it would also ignore the millions of people around the world who are waiting in line to come here legally.
And he just made Monica Crowley's argument.
I mean,
presto.
I am not surprised at all. I've been talking about the truth about this man for 6 years, Bill. This is a man for 6 years as president who has constantly set aside the Constitution, the law, the Congress, public opinion to affect what he had wanted and what he wants. In this case, I think this is a particularly egregious example because this is a bypass of the Congress and an actual defiance of the Congress to issue a blanket amnesty. The chief executive's role is not to write laws or to change them in any way. There's a proper political process in order to do that. That's what he was referring to in all of these comments when he has said over the years that he doesn't have the constitutional authority to do this. And yet, in the first 2 years of his presidency, when he had big majorities in both houses, he could have gotten through whatever he wanted. He didn't do it. Now he's going to go over the heads of the American people and their representatives to write the laws himself. This is a constitutional crisis and an abuse of power.
Doug.
Bill, I, as you might imagine, as a Democrat, have a somewhat different but complementary perspective to Monica's. I want comprehensive immigration reform. I want secure borders, and I want a pathway to citizenship. I know many of our viewers might take a different view. But what to me is paramount is what Monica was speaking about, which is constitutional process. The president was right in 2010 to say what he did. Now, as the country is more polarized, people are more angry after the midterm election, to not try to seek common ground with the Republicans on legislation, even in the short term, speaks to his frankly cynical approach, his political approach, and I think what will really divide and further polarize an already dispirited nation.
Wow. When they say this would poison the well, the well is nearly drowning in poison very soon.
Precisely.
Last week when John Boehner said you play with fire, you're going to get burned. And now we wait for the next shoe to drop on this. The Wall Street Journal had a poll after this election. They said, who do you want to lead America? Do you want the Congress to do it? You want the president to do it? 53%, a clear majority, said the Congress. And not the president.
Which is a striking turnaround, by the way, because the Republicans generally always poll lower than Democrats when you do a generic question like this. This is a huge turnaround. Look, you hire a president for leadership. You hire him to faithfully execute the laws of the nation. That's what the Constitution says. This man, not just in this example, but repeatedly, I think this is the straw that's breaking the camel's back with a lot of American voters, a lot of people who are paying attention. They've put up with a lot of extra constitutional, even unconstitutional nonsense from this president. But this is so big, and this has the potential not only to defy Congress and the people's representatives, Bill, but to directly and indirectly affect every single American. If you're going to legalize 5 million new people who are going to enter the workforce, okay, who are going to, for the most part, end up voting Democrat when they get those voting rights, this is going to affect the very character and nature of the country, which is exactly why Obama's doing it.
Doug.
He's doubling down on his political base. The sad thing is, rather than after a congressional defeat, a blowout, a shellacking, trying to find common ground on the whole range of problems we're facing, there is a really cynical attempt, as I think Monica was putting it, to divide as a means of getting short-term political benefit. He knows what's going to happen. He knows this will be...
What is going to happen, Doug, in your view?
Legislative polarization, conflict in the courts over his order, more immigrants, frankly, Bill, chaos. It's wrong. It shouldn't happen. And I think really people of both parties need to speak out.
But that's exactly what he wants. That is the intent. I mean, we tend to still treat Barack Obama as if this is a normal presidency. This is not a normal presidency. Case in point.
Monica, thank you. Doug, thanks to you as well.
You.
More reaction in a moment. Martha has that.
Coming up, we're going to hear from the White House. Press Secretary Josh Earnest joins us next to talk about what is in the president's plan and their response to the backlash that you just heard.